Brought to you by
We Are the Caring Store, waiting to serve you. It's time to experience independent living. Visit us today.
SLB empowers my future.
CVM TV and live Jamaica Premier League action on a Monday night. A match made in heaven. We call it Monday Match Night. Catch all the hard-pounding JPL Monday night action from now until the end of the season on CVM TV's Monday Match Night. Matchday Mondays at 7:4 to 5 p.m. with rebroadcast Tuesdays at 10 a.m. Nothing else can quite match up. Monday Match Night, powered by Sunshine Snacks and ABC Electrical.
Singers, songwriters, producers, this is your chance to write your name into Jamaica's rich music history and also win $3 million cash in the JCDC Festival Song Competition. And it's now so easy to enter because what? We gone digital. It's all online. Just log on to jcdc.gov.jm, fill in the form online and upload your entry. Closing date has been extended to March 31. Enter now.
It's Tuesday, March 25, 2025. This is CVM News at noon, and I'm Ramon Gordon. In Manchester, a police operation early Tuesday morning resulted in the fatal shooting of Kingsland resident Orlando Clive Waite, also called Garth. Police say the operation took place between 2 and 3 a.m. at a premises in the area, where Waite allegedly confronted them while armed. He was shot and taken to the hospital and later pronounced dead. A firearm was reportedly seized. Indicom is investigating the incident. And in St. Anne, the police are probing the fatal shooting of well-known businessman Samuel Frotty Dixon in Tower Isle, St. Mary. Dixon had just arrived home around 7 p.m. when gunmen opened fire on his vehicle. He attempted to flee but was chased and shot multiple times. He died at the scene. A longtime resident of the parish, Dixon operated 2 gas stations, a car dealership and an auto parts store in the White River area. He was well respected in the community and had donated equipment to Port Antonio High School and hospital beds to the Port Antonio Hospital in 2017. And an RGR Gleaner employee was shot in Harborview this morning. Reports allege that the shooter, believed to be of unsound mind, disarmed a licensed firearm holder and opened fire on the employee. The transmission engineer was rushed to the hospital by police and underwent emergency surgery. More details to come. Former PNP MP for West St. Mary, Julian Silvera, who is accused of killing his wife in 2023, is expected to return to the Supreme Court today. He'll be making a fresh bail application after his initial request was denied last year. Silvera was charged in January 2024 in connection with the death of his wife, Melissa Silvera, who was found dead at their St. Andrew home. And Finance Minister Favour Williams is set to close the 2025-2026 budget debate this afternoon in Parliament. Her presentation, scheduled for 2 o'clock, will bring the curtains down on weeks of discussion over the government's spending plans. Minister Williams is expected to address concerns raised by the opposition and reinforce the administration's fiscal priorities. We'll, of course, have the details at 7. And the National Water Commission, NWC, has pushed back against claims by opposition junior spokesperson on health, Jesse James Clark, that corporate area water is unsafe. Speaking on CVM's lead story Monday night, acting public relations manager Delano Williams dismissed the assertion.
Refuting any claim that the water is not safe simply because of the steps that we take to assure that what is being distributed to customers, in fact, is safe for consumption and use. Now, I want to put that in the context, George, of the fact that there are a number of systems, especially in the rural areas, which will provide with risk and challenges. And so the report as we presented it to the KSAMC does reflect the realities that there are times when human practices, farming practices, and so on will reflect changes in the water quality, both at the source and also put a risk along the network. Now, what is important is what the NWC has done and continues to do. Now, we want to, for instance, give a quick definition.
Yes.
The report or the videos you would have been seeing talks about fecal coliform, but there is no reading of that nature reflecting. What we present to the KSAMC is total coliform, which is a large group of bacteria commonly found in the environment, in the soil, in vegetation, and so on. And they may not pose a direct health risk. Now, once we get any kind of readings for coliform, we do a further intensive test to check for fecal coliform, right? And we are not getting any of those kind of readings at all.
The Public Procurement Commission is urging all Jamaicans who do business with the government to get registered under the Commission for safeguarding processes. Executive Director Nadia Morris says it's important for clients to be registered when collaborating with the government.
The Public Procurement Commission is governed by the Public Procurement Act of 2015. We have the handbook that is a previous dispensation. So the Act actually established the Public Procurement Commission in 2019. We've been operational since 2020. And our role mainly is to oversee the registration of suppliers, the approval or endorsements of contracts, and also the contractor performance monitoring of our suppliers. All right, so it's important to understand that at every juncture, the Public Procurement Commission is seeking to ensure that there is no reputational risk to the government of Jamaica. So at all times, as part of the procurement process, you have to assess supplier capability. And so we have to understand, are they fit and proper to do business with the government? Are they financially stable? So
ready from them budget ready. I'm ready. You have to have your budget though. You have to have it.
Are you financially stable to carry through the contract? Those questions are the ones that we ask.
The Jamaica Youth Advocacy Network is making a renewed call for a revised school nutrition policy and regulated vending zones. The concern comes as studies show an increase in obesity and non-communicable diseases among Jamaica's children. Courtney Lewis has more.
The call for a new school nutrition policy is even more pressing, as studies show an increase in non-communicable diseases among children. The Jamaica Youth Advocacy Network, JAN, is now pushing for regulated vending zones, hoping it will curb the sale of unhealthy foods to school children.
They are crucial around schools to regulate the sale of food and beverages, ensuring that students have access to safe, nutritious, and legally compliant products. And without proper regulation, unmonitored vendors may sell harmful or unhealthy items, putting students at serious risk.
The Advocacy Network also calls for greater protection through permits and licenses for vendors who interact with children frequently.
One of the things may simply be that our vendors may not have the qualifications we need them to have to be selling food to our children. And it would ensure strict vendor screening and licensing. So ensuring that our vendors do have their food handlers permit and can be around children.
The increased marketing of junk food is also a major concern.
School is a space for healthy communications, for healthy foods, and so we need to ban this kind of marketing. And not just direct marketing, but also indirect marketing. So if you walk into your school canteen and on the fridge, there's this big image of an unhealthy drink, you're seeing that every day, right?
And while stakeholders await the implementation of the policy, advocates encourage parents and school accountability and more public education.
Probably starting with the fruit day, like a fruit Friday and a water Wednesday. And then when it comes to physical activity, especially for those in upper school, because from about grade 9, grade 10, they tend to not engage in the PE classes or, co-curricular activities that encourage physical activity, incorporate some movement breaks throughout the school days.
Courtney Lewis for CVM News.
Now to this CVM News update. Following a recent uproar at the St. James High School just weeks ago, students and staff turned up to another surprise Monday morning. To tell us more, here's Trisha Kelly.
The plot thickens at the St. James High School as some students and staff lingered on the outskirts of the compound Monday morning, where they encountered a padlocked gate. Merely weeks ago, the school's principal, Joseph Williams, and board chairman, Christopher McCurdy, were caught in a heated confrontation, which led to classes being dismissed for the day. But Principal Williams says Monday's action is seemingly the result, following no updates after the last meeting.
What happened is a reaction to the fact that the ministry and National Council has not done what they said they would do, that they would appoint new members for the board.
At the time of the incident, the Education and Youth Ministry vowed to intervene, and indeed, they had meetings with the school's board and staff members.
It's unfortunate when it seeps into the leadership of our schools, but we're going to have to deal with it, and we are dealing with it quite strongly and frontally, and we're even looking at our regulations to look at how we can change those to ensure that if there are any issues in a school, that there is more latitude for us to act.
But it seems the ministry's intervention was not enough. It remains unclear at this time who closed the school's gate.
The chairman is the same thing. Nothing was done. The last meeting, there was an assurance that, okay, it's obvious that there is no unity can go on, so they would change those members who were there. It was communicated to all the members of the different groups on the board, and so obviously they have reacted to it.
Data are here to show what we are doing for a half-day school, 4 hours per session. For a half-day school, I've been doing well, and Mr. Williams come and turn around the school. And these people want to use the politics they want to use to mess the school up. But we're not going to stand for that.
Classes were reportedly dismissed early and transitioned online for the remainder of the day. Trisha Kelly, CVM News.
And we'll have more on that story at 7 o'clock tonight. It's time for a quick break here on CVM News at noon. Stay with us.
Every day starts with care. Care that's always close. SuperMed Family of Pharmacies is where you go for everything you need. From your morning routine to life's biggest moments, SuperMed Family of Pharmacies is always by your side. Whether it's prescriptions or household essentials, trust the care that's close to home. Super happy, super healthy, SuperMed.
Sports fans, get off the sidelines and join the action with Just Bet. Bet on your favorite teams anywhere online at www.supremegames.com or visit one of our 100 locations island-wide. With enough games and the best odds, you can win big with Just Bet. Be a part of the game. Feel the thrill of winning. Join the action with Just Bet. Must be 18 years old or to bet. Game responsibly.
Welcome back. It's time for our discussion segment. Jamaica is on a bold path toward digital transformation with major investments in broadband connectivity, e-government services and a national identification system. But how ready is the country to fully embrace this shift, and what challenges lie ahead? Joining us now to explore Jamaica's digital future is Trevor Forrest, digital transformation consultant and cybersecurity expert. Welcome, sir, and thank you again for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
Great. How ready would you say is Jamaica's digital infrastructure to support nationwide digital transformation?
Well, from a standpoint of digital infrastructure, I think we're doing pretty well with the rollout of the different networks from Digicel, Flow, Island Networks, and others, I think from an infrastructure standpoint, we're not doing too badly. I think what we need to perhaps look at is the reliability and resilience of the infrastructure, but from the standpoint of whether we have infrastructure or not, we're not doing too badly. I think also that we just need to look at access to this infrastructure primarily in rural areas, because I think there are some gaps as it relates to access to the internet, access to these networks in certain areas in Jamaica. But generally, I think we're not doing too badly there.
Great, and we're going to get to that point later on for sure. But with more government services going online, how prepared is Jamaica to deal with cybersecurity threats and protect personal data? We have seen in recent times there have been some breaches. So to what extent are we prepared to handle with them?
Okay, so that's a different story. So the threat levels are and have been increasing exponentially over the past 5-6 years, and that's something that we've seen within the cybersecurity space. One of the things I worry about, and it's a real concern, and I don't think we are quite where we need to be, is the ability to protect against the kinds of attacks that have come our way and will continue to come our way.
All right, Mr. Forrest, we're going to hold that. Remember that point, Sir Forrest. We're going to go to a quick break. You're watching CVM News at Noon. We'll be right back.
The time is brought to you by Ford Territory.
Welcome back. You're watching CVM News at Noon, and we're joined by a technology expert, Trevor Forrest, to discuss Jamaica's current digital infrastructure. And we're talking cybersecurity now. And Sir Forrest, before we went to our break, you were telling us things that must be a top priority now, especially as we look to transition to a more digital society. That's where you were, sir.
Yeah, correct. So I think, and let me kind of put it into perspective.
We're talking about technology and we're experiencing some technical difficulties. We're talking about cyber security in Jamaica, but until we're back with that expert, we're moving on to international news. Mr. Forrest?
Yes.
Forgive us. You see, we're talking about technology and we're having some technological difficulties of our own. Welcome back, sir.
Okay. Yeah, man. So what I was saying, when we look at the idea of cybersecurity, I don't think enough businesses, even the government, fully understand and take seriously the impact that cybersecurity and cyber threats can have on business, on government agencies and government services, and even on the individual. Right. So in 2015, the government actually rolled out what they call a national cybersecurity strategy. And it was based on 4 pillars: public education and awareness, capacity building, legal and regulatory measures, and technical measures. Right.
Right.
Now, we've started to do some work, a lot of work in the legislative and regulatory space, but one of the areas I think we're not doing enough in is public education and awareness and capacity building, because these particular areas are very important if it is that we're going to have, a respectable posture from a security standpoint. So I think we have some work to do there, and if we're able to really get to where we need to get to, then we should be on some solid footing. But we do have some work to do in the cybersecurity space.
So Forrest, you mentioned something very important, and you referenced it earlier about the inclusion of persons and ensuring that they're properly educated to be a part of this new society that's being cultivated. Let's speak specifically about the elderly and rural Jamaicans who aren't necessarily, have access to these things readily. How do we ensure that they are not left behind?
Right, so there are a number of approaches that you can take